so, why do millions continue to head to Europe despite clear signals that we are overwhelmed?
Well, we're about to speak to a 14-year-old Syrian refugee called Bana al-Abed. She came to the world's attention when she posted cries for help on social media as her city was bombed, and went on to become one of the world's youngest refugee campaigners and now a Nobel Peace Prize nominee. Well, before we hear Bana's views, let's see more of her story.
Al-Abed, I am 8 years old.
I live in Aleppo.
I was scared for a long time. I thought if I could tell people what was happening, I could help the other scared children.
And something amazing started to happen.
People started to listen.
The bombs took away so many things I loved.
I lost my school, my home, my best friend. But I never lost my hope for a better tomorrow.
And Bana and her family were eventually able to escape the war, and they now live safely in Turkey. And I'm pleased to say Bana joins us this morning. Very good morning to you. I have to say, in my career, some of the hardest reporting I've ever done was on the attacks in Aleppo, particularly the gassing of children there. I remember finding it very, very hard to cover that. You've lived through the tragedies that we saw in Syria. You are now safe, but you've taken it upon yourself to speak up for people trying to flee from war.
Yes, of course I do, because no child deserves to be a refugee and no child deserves to be under siege, and you know, every child deserves to have the right to be educated and live in like a better future and in a safe place.
Well, Bana, it's a new life for you now in Turkey. I don't know if Turkey will become your permanent home or not, but what is that new life like? You've just been uprooted from where you were born, where you lived, what you knew. How difficult or not difficult has it been to adapt?
It's the life here is very nice, and I'm going to school, so it's very I'm happy. I have friends now, and my life is amazing. Of course, I do miss my home. I miss my country, and I miss every single bit of it. I still remember that I forgot some dolls of mine when my home was destroyed. Before we came to Turkey, I started to cry because I wanted to go back there, because I wanted to stay there in my home. But as I looked, I saw that I needed a better future and I needed to be educated. So I chose to come here. Although no refugee deserves to leave their country just because of war or anything. So I hope the war stops and life will become better for them.
Do you think, and it's hard to ask a 14-year-old sometimes very adult issues, but I want to ask you how aware you are of this. Do you think that the plight of a genuine refugee like you and your family is sometimes hampered by those people who are just trying to get a better life, moving perhaps to Europe because, you know, they want a safer community or a better job? Does it make it harder, do you think, for your families to be able to find help because of those people?
Sometimes, yes, because many people don't like refugees. They think that, you know, we come here because we want to do nothing, but we are actually refugees. We come from a place that is horrible. When I was in Syria, we couldn't eat anything, so we were always so hungry and always sick. So when we come to a new country and we want help because we don't know the language and we don't know any of the traditions or cultures or anything. And for example, you have kids, right? And you need to get them to go to school. Your kids have to start from the beginning, from scratch. You have to teach them the language and everything, and you have to tell them, for example, not to do this, do that. So it's very hard. And then these people come and they're like, we don't want you here because you're refugees. And they're like, we're going to send you to another country. So, I mean, what will the refugees do? Will they just like say yes and then go to another country and redo the same thing? They have to study the language again and find a new job. It's just very hard for us. I mean, no refugee wants this life. They just want to go to a place where they feel they're wanted, and they just want to make a new home for their family and just live a peaceful life.
You just want to be safe. I think it's very hard for anyone who hasn't come through a threatening situation as you have done, or lived in a threatening situation, to understand what refuge, what sanctuary actually means, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for sanctuary, isn't it? And hopefully you've found it there. What would your plea be to those of us in Europe and beyond, and the European Union and the UK government? What would you say to them in terms of understanding the plight of refugees?
Actually, my brother is doing a speech tomorrow in the assembly. He's going to be talking about kindness. So he wanted my help. And he was like, you're good at, writing speeches, so I wanted you to fix my words. He's just 10 years old. And then he gave me the paper, and it was amazing. How he wrote it, it was like, I was just shocked. He was saying that kindness is all about patience and understanding. And he just went and straight up said in his, like, how he wrote it, he's like, if you are not kind to people, the harsh truth is that no one will like you. I was shocked. And then he was like, helping people that are in need is actually really nice. You will be kind to them, and you will receive kindness to yourself, because you will think, I've done such a great thing and I gave them hope. So it's
Can I ask you,
amazing.
Do you think that the UK, where we're speaking to you from, is the UK seen around the world as a kind country to refugees?
In my opinion, UK is really nice. I visited many times and I love it. I'm actually planning to be to enter a university in the UK because me and my mom love it so much. Yes, some people in the UK are very kind to the refugees, and some of them may not be kind, it's their opinion. I'm not going to be like, oh, why are you not kind to them? Everyone has an opinion, right? But sometimes, we should be all understanding, and even though we hate a person or anything, we should be kind to them after all, and we should understand that the refugees are actually going through a lot of pain and suffering, and it's just very hard for them.
And does that pain and suffering stay with you? Do you have dreams? Do you have nightmares? Do you have worries about what you went through? Or are you just thankful that you're no longer there?
I am indeed thankful I'm no longer there, but still it is very traumatizing, since I still dream of being in Syria and under the bombing, and I still recall how my house was destroyed and everything was just black. And till today, my brothers are afraid to sleep alone, so they have to stay in one room because I'm the oldest. So they're like, Bana, please, we're so scared, stay with us, we want you to be with us. And I recall when we were younger, we didn't want to go out from the room, from our parents' room, when we were young. So it was very, very scary. We also, when we hear any airplanes in here, when there's a celebration, we actually think it's a real plane that's gonna bomb us. So one time we literally went under the table and we started to cry, and my parents just came and they were like, it's okay, it's just a celebration and there is nothing. So these memories still are stuck with us because we went through a lot. I still remember that I used to take my like brothers to a room when we were in Syria when we heard a bomb, and I was just hug them, and I was like singing a song and al-Abed to them just so that they couldn't hear it. So it is very not a nice thing to live under war.
Of course it's not. Of course it's not. And thank you so much for recounting that story and maybe giving the people a perspective of what it's like to flee from violence and war. And just final point, Bana, what do you want to be in 6 or 7 years from now? You'll enter into a career. What is it when you come to university in Britain that you want to be?
I really hope that I can be a doctor, since I love helping people a lot. And then maybe I can be something even greater so I can help more people. I love helping people. It's like one of the things that I knew since I was like a child.
Yeah.
And when I go to school and I see someone crying, I just go near them and be like, what's wrong? You can tell me. And you know, people love to talk to me because I'm an understanding person. So I love to become a doctor, and then maybe hopefully in the future.
We love talking to you this morning.
We need lots of doctors as well. Bana al-Abed, good luck with your Nobel Peace Prize nomination as well. I have a feeling you might do very well. Thanks for talking to us this morning on GB News.
Thanks for telling us your story.